Bitcoin is literally dropping very heavily right now, guys. So I'm gonna talk you through why I think this Bitcoin drop is gonna drop even further and why this happened, okay? And why I think we can actually catch a very good trade, a very good long trade in Bitcoin and Ethereum before Ethereum makes a new all-time high. So watch till the end. So basically, let me tell you and walk you through why Bitcoin saw this huge drop. So first we have the news side, which basically the PPI, the producer price index, came in negative, worse than expected. So we have the inflation and the producer side going higher. But regardless of that, I actually like to focus on the TA, having it pure TA. So basically, the reason a Bitcoin dropped mainly is because we took the all-time high liquidity. We saw Bitcoin go above 123.38 34. Sorry, as you can see, this is the Bitcoin height we put in at the 14th of July, and we added more liquidity before taking these two highs, because not only we took the all-time high, we also took the smaller high. As you can see, we had Bitcoin get closer to the all-time high, but it didn't quite hit it from the first time. And then, as you can see, we bounced back from this support, which is the point of control, the highest volume area since the beginning of July, since breaking out from 110k. As you can see, 110k, we saw Bitcoin create a range, causing a huge volume to accumulate at 118k, and then we saw Bitcoin create a fake out, put a higher low, poor low, and then hit the support, which we actually gave us a very nice long trade. And then what it did, it basically took out this liquidity from this smaller lower high, and then also took out the liquidity from the all-time high. As you can see, this is basically what happened. If you play the tape right now, we can see Bitcoin bouncing from the 118k, strongly bouncing back to take out the liquidity from the high of Monday and also the high or all-time high of Bitcoin. And then what happened then is basically, after taking liquidity, people got into trades, people got into long trades, longing literally the top, which actually causes a cascade of price movement going down. Because as you know, once people put in or enter long trades at the top, what happens is basically once we get back into the range after taking liquidity, people get liquidated and people lose their trades, causing the price to go down. This is basically, and this is exactly why I always tell you guys to never long a breakout. Always wait for a drop to get into a nice long trade. The increase of price is only for shorting the coin. If you want to short a coin, wait for a pump. If you want to long a coin, wait for a dump. This is basically how to stay profitable in the market. However, now let me walk you through why actually Bitcoin also dropped even further, because as I've told you, we got this 118k major support line. However, we actually started breaking down from it, and it was all very, very obvious, because if we go to an app called ExoChart, this is basically an application that shows the order flow, how well the futures contracts are positioned, where we have the long trades and where we have the buyers trades or the short trades, and who's winning exactly in this battle. Basically, based on this app, we can see that when we hit 118k again, we hit it the first time and then we got the all-time high. We hit it again yesterday, and we actually saw a crazy amount of open interest going up, a huge amount of longs. People are literally longing the support again. However, we saw the price not go even a bit. It basically just went up a bit, like a couple of percentage points, maybe 1% or less than 1%, and then we saw the price go back drop. And this is basically what happens and how you can actually know if you should long a support or not. Basically, if you see a strong support, okay, with a high amount of longs being opened, but the price isn't responding to this amount of longs, then basically you can avoid taking a long. This basically shows you that although we have a high amount of volume, a high amount of longs being opened at a good, very good support actually, but we can see the price is being sucked in by the short limit orders. Hence why I actually published in my Telegram that I'm avoiding taking a long here, and I'm actually waiting for a major drop or a higher drop, as you can see. So basically, now let me talk you through why I think the best long trade is still needs a bit of correction from Bitcoin. The best long trade right now we have is actually having Bitcoin drop even further to 116.5k. This is the next support line we got the daily, we got the NPUC, and a value area low. These are the three reasons which are the confluence for taking a trade if the right trigger happens. If Bitcoin basically on the 15-minute time frame or the 30-minute time frame drops to this level to 16.5k and then gives us a nice bounce, then I'm gonna look into getting in a long trade into Bitcoin and possibly even taking it upwards to 120 as a first target, and then actually waiting for a new all-time high on Bitcoin. However, and that's the major important fact, if Bitcoin doesn't hold 116.5k, or if actually what it does is just catches a small pump and then I open exo chart and I see that it gave us a bad reaction, then I might avoid taking a long trade. And then if we lose this level and not take a long trade, then I will be waiting for a much longer drop to the 14k, 14.6 to 14.1k basically. So if you're interested in taking longs, just wait for the 16.5k. Then if this doesn't hold, wait for the 14.5k, 14.1k. Almost these are the major important lines. Now let me take you through why I think Ethereum is also going to drop even further along with Bitcoin, causing it to give us a nicer, actually much better long trade than Bitcoin. And then I'm also expecting Ethereum to get a new all-time high rise. Firstly, let me share with you a major Elliott wave prediction that could show us go above $5,000 in Ethereum. So basically we got this Ethereum Elliott wave prediction, taking it from this low, which starts the wave 1, we have wave 2, we have then wave 3, and then this could be wave 4, bouncing from the point of control with the anchored VWAP, which are major support lines with high volume of purchasers, and then we can actually put in a major wave 5, as you can see. So this is technically actually a good confluence, or this actually works well together with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin bounces from 16.5k, then Ethereum is probably gonna bounce from this area, which is around 400 or 4300 to 4200. If we see a nice bounce, this actually could be a nice long trade to get into before Ethereum putting a new all-time high. So I'm expecting Ethereum to still put in a new all-time high. Just a matter of where we're gonna bounce, and just a matter of when Bitcoin is gonna stop dropping. However, I'm still expecting Ethereum to put in a new all-time high above 5k. My strong targets are obviously the 57k and the 63k. However, I'm gonna just focus on just putting into just a small higher high on top of Ethereum, just causing or breaking the all-time high. Why I'm cautious of actually looking for higher targets, and why I'm thinking maybe this is gonna play out. Basically, in Elliott wave theory, after you put in the wave 5, then you might see a correction. Based on this correction, you can actually take out the liquidity that we put in from the poor high and actually from the all-time high, making something similar to what we saw in Bitcoin. As I told you from the beginning of the video, in Bitcoin what we saw is actually Bitcoin create a poor low, a higher low from the all-time high, and then it dropped, giving us a nice trade for Bitcoin to then take the all-time high, take the other high, which is the smaller high, and then give us a stronger dip. So basically this actually could work with Ethereum. We can actually see wave 4 being put in the 43,000 area, 4300 area, and then we can actually see a nice wave 5 above the all-time high, above the poor low or poor high, and then we can actually see an ABC correction, basically losing the all-time high, dropping a bit, and then seeing a major correction, maybe lose the 4k level and then buy again at the 3800 level to then continue our major path to $6,000. So this is basically my prediction right now. We'll wait and see. I might actually take a trade on Ethereum and Bitcoin if it gives us a nice bounce from the 4300 level and the 116k level on Bitcoin. Thanks for watching, guys.